All right, so I tricked you guys a little bit. There was no UK 10 turn here. They did forfeit the game. Um, you'll see Germany didn't even make a purchase, so they just did it after seeing the U.S. making landfall and that Russian strafe on their units walking through West Russia there. Uh, so some quick thoughts here on this game altogether. So one, if y'all were watching from the beginning, you know I had a really rough round one. Remember, so we lost 5 infantry in West Russia. We lost a fighter in Ukraine and um, didn't take the territory. And then that was followed. Germany had a strong um, turn for them where they just lost the one sub in C Zone 7. And then that turned around to UK's turn where we lost a bomber and a cruiser, and they still had a sub and a cruiser survive C-Zone 7 after that round one. And so that's what we were facing was kind of a really bad Russia one, a really bad UK one, no UK bomber on the board. And my whole thing is a lot of people would have folded at that point. Um, and I just, especially when you don't know your opponent, like in ranked games, I think you got to play it at least for a while. I'm very much a proponent, even when I'm behind, I'm going to look for taking a big battle somewhere, wherever I can. I had a game. I don't think I recorded it, but it was in the duo, or excuse me, the Discord tournament against White Double Air, where I got behind fairly quickly, and so I took a shot out of the dark, had I think it was like a 35 or 40% shot on Moscow. I also had to clean up his units that were hanging around it so he couldn't just retake it. I took the shot, I won, and then it allowed me to win the game. So I mean, sometimes you get behind, and you need to find a way to make a consequential battle, even if it's a 1% shot, right? If you've got this load, like this guy here, right? If I was going to give up, I would have at least gone ahead and attacked Moscow. I mean, what do you got to lose at least? At least just do the battle. You never know. You may get that 0.5%, you know, odds chance, and then I can post in Dice Gods how I got diced in the game, right? I mean, but they happen. That's why in the Discord there's a Dice God channel. I mean, those battles happen. So might as well take the shot and see what happens. Um, so I will say, yes, you want to find it sooner than later when you start falling behind in a game. If you don't start doing things, throughout these rounds, you would have heard me say, okay, I need to be a little more aggressive. I gotta be a little more aggressive than I normally would be. I gotta take a little more risks than I normally would. I mean, you gotta find ways to change it. You can't just play the normal vanilla game. You gotta find and set up the big battle you're gonna take and take it. Because a lot of times when you're behind, if that big battle, say I got a 50% chance shot on Moscow, but I'm falling behind on attack power and income, that's only going to go down. So, go ahead and take it, right? You can't wait for an 80% chance if you're losing the rest of the game, because that 50% is going to become 40%. It's going to become 30%. It's going to become 10%. It's going to become 5%. So, and I'm just using Moscow as an example. It could be anywhere where there's a big battle that you're setting up. If you're behind, it's going to snowball and grow. So find that battle, find where you're going to put your foot down and take it at least. Don't just leave the board sitting here because you just don't know what could have happened. Um, Personally, in this game as an overall, I don't know that Axis was really lost here yet. I think he forfeited this a little early, in my opinion. Yes, I do think I had turned the tides. I think I had turned the corner. Um, but he just needed to march these guys smartly and then bring Caucasus back to West Russia as they come in, or march them down to Caucasus. And if he just got his waves set up, and you know, I will always say stacking France as Germany and a KJF is not the way to go. These units would have been so much better if they would have been sitting over here with these guys. He could have took me sooner. But that's a whole nother I'm getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. He just needed to march his guys over and start setting up defenses against these guys. But I mean, he still had Africa sitting down here. He was gonna start losing that some, but you know, there was still a chance for him to try to set up a battle. But like I said, at least take that battle there. And all of this rambling is just to say, you know, don't just give up right away. I'm not one for drawing a game on out. You know, if I take that battle and I lose it, I'm not going to sit here and keep, you know, just surviving. I'm going to forfeit then. You know, I'm not going to drag a game out, but I am going to set up and take my best shot, even if that's a 1% shot at a battle somewhere to make a difference. And so that's my opinion. When you're playing someone you don't know, you might as well just play a few rounds. You know, when round one goes bad, if I'm playing a guy that I know is a top guy, a Quentin, a Davonair, a White Devil, you know, Terrence, you know, those guys, um, then yeah, you know, I'm gonna start looking right away for a chance for a battle. You know, either a C Zone 37 UK1 or like we did here, the fleet drop on UK2. You know, I'm gonna find a way to you know try to create a Dice Gods moment quickly because it's gonna get out of hand. If I'm playing somebody I don't know, I will probably give it a couple rounds and just see how they play. Like this guy, I mean, he played pretty solidly in the beginning, but as we started getting on, there was little things he was doing that just weren't the best. And so I knew there was a chance if I just kind of hung around and took little you know aggressive moves where I could, that I could fight my way back into this game. So just you gotta know your player if you know your opponent. If you don't know your opponent, study their moves for the first 3-4 rounds, and you can get a pretty good idea of what kind of player they are. I've got a feeling this player he did end up being like a low gold player, so solid. And his first couple turns were decent, as you heard me say. Oh, Germany's looking pretty good to start off with, but then I could see he didn't have a lot of, or I'm guessing a lot of competitive KJF play because he didn't really know what to do with Germany once he started getting over here. And there's definitely better troop movements he could have done with his ground here to make this so that he could have came in here and started building some tanks and air and whatnot towards the latter rounds to really build up a pressure for that G8. I really think he probably should have had a G8 opportunity that slipped by. So, anyways, that's a lot of rambling. This game's over. Make sure you check out the poll I posted and let me know your thoughts on future videos if you like the short length or the long length videos. All right, on to the next game.